It's a good indicator of where the industry is headed as far as thinking differently and creatively about how applications can be used, because I think even for a long time, we've had this idea of what, especially something like that, is meant strictly for. And now that the entire world is starting to change, we're able to take what's been done from an innovation perspective and apply that to different areas across our industry. And I think that's what's really interesting about the core of innovation at ASSA ABLOY, is that it's scalable and it's achievable and usable across the board.
And that's an excellent point, Amy, because part of the challenge was, what tools do we use? And we don't have a lot that we've had a lot of experience with. But one of the things we used in this project, as well as others, was the sustainability compass. That helped us to have the tool to focus our efforts to say, hey, don't think about how we're going to manufacture this. Let's think about what materials are we using? What other energy can we save using these tools? So they help us focus in those key areas to just look at where we could eliminate waste and reduce or prevent some of those sustainable solutions. So the other part of that is, and Amy knows, we do this a lot. We get a third party, which is Green Circle, and they worked with us, with the military, with other projects as well at universities and campuses. There's a lot of case studies where we've literally took our openings and compared that to an existing opening, retrofitted the building with our product, a Trio Mercury frame, Pimco seals, McKinney and Sargent hardware, all those different things. And then we demonstrated with them a measured transition from prior to the energy efficient, and it averaged out to be like $120 an opening, depending on what region of the country. But again, like Amy said, you can scale that solution to the market or to the region of the country. So that was one of the things that we learned from this, is we don't always want to pigeonhole our solution. We need to think about, hey, how can I make this value added to the end user? What are they really looking for in the solution? What is the need that we're trying to solve? And the tools like Sustainable Compass and having the cross-functional teams, that helps you review that with those things in mind. How much energy can I save? How much water? How much transportation? Is there another material out there that we could substitute that would give us equal or better performance with less weight or less energy or less resource impact on the environment? It's a living process. It doesn't just stop when you check the box and said, hey, I've got my compass done, I'm good, or I've got my sustainability report. It's one of those things that as a team, we go back and say, where are we not taking advantage of some change in technology? And it's like your phone. Every year, by the time you get one, it's already outdated. So it's like our compass. It's there, but we don't need to just rest on what we have. We have to keep looking at opportunities to get better.
Regardless of what we're looking to save, it keeps that sustainability conversation or that energy efficiency conversation relevant to everybody in the room, not just the one that holds the wallet, or not just the one that's running the facilities department or paying the bill. And I think that's what's been really helpful with the sustainability compass and the way that ASSA ABLOY uses innovation and sustainability as a joint cornerstone of the organization, is that we can see these reductions in a visual way, and we can portray that information or convey that information to our customers so that the story is relevant.
One of the things we did as a team, again, we traditionally have cross-functional teams internally, but in this case, we had to have cross-functional and cross-company teams. So one of the tools we used was the Sustainable Compass to step back and say, okay, what are our current materials? How are we using those? And then more importantly, how those manufactured and transported. So all the way through the value stream, that tool allowed us to refocus in those key areas to say, let's look at our traditional means of shipping this material and manufacturing these products. We want to save weight, we want to save energy, and still meet these specs. And we could see it physically, graphically, as we changed this, it moved here.
the relevancy of sustainability can look different depending on what's important to the customer. But in many cases, what we find, and this is true of the government, this is true of institutions as well, is their funding in a lot of cases, or their monetary support, depends on the progress that they make with environmental contributions. And so those organizations as a whole, it's important for them to show that they're making very smart decisions as far as product procurement is concerned, as far as operation and that footprint is concerned. And so those customers are typically seeking out the types of suppliers and manufacturers that have aligned and parallel goals to what they're working toward. And I think it's important. Yes, we make the products and solutions that the customer needs and demands within a budget that's reasonable for them. But I think it's also important that we are a resource for them as far as sustainability. So yes, they know they can come to us for the products, but the message that we've also conveyed to them is that we're a resource as far as just guidance through a project, especially when you're incorporating elements of a green or sustainable building, and there are more stringent guidelines that could be through a green building certification program or the local codes, standards, or guidelines, that they can count on ASSA ABLOY from a manufacturer's perspective to say, okay, we've dealt with this type of project before, or we've developed this product with this specific guideline in mind, and they have some peace of mind to say, okay, they can help me through this process. And then once we're through the process, I know that I've got these quality products and solutions installed from them